No team had ever done it before. No team had ever come back from a 3-1 deficit in the NBA Finals. Not once in the league's history. And if there was ever a team that looked impossible to beat, it was the 2016 Golden State Warriors, the team that won a record-breaking 73 games in the regular season, the team led by back-to-back MVP Stephen Curry, the team that dominated all year long and was one win away from solidifying themselves as the greatest squad to ever step on an NBA court. But on the other side of that court stood a man who had been here before, a man who knew what was at stake. LeBron James wasn't just playing for a championship. He was playing for legacy, for redemption, for Cleveland. And what happened next was something no one saw coming. This was the greatest comeback in NBA Finals history. 2016 NBA Finals was anything but smooth for the Cavaliers. The previous year, they had faced the Warriors in the finals but fell short in 6 games. Injuries to Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love left LeBron battling alone against a fully healthy Golden State squad. That loss hurt, but it also ignited something within them. The Cavs entered the 2016 season determined to reclaim their shot at the title, and with a healthy roster, they were one of the top teams in the East. But despite their success, there were tensions. Mid-season, the Cavs fired head coach David Blatt and promoted Tyronn Lue, a bold move for a team trying to win it all. Meanwhile, over in the West, the Warriors were making history. They started the season on a 24-game winning streak, blowing past opponents and shattering records. Stephen Curry was on another level, winning his second consecutive MVP, this time unanimously, a feat never achieved before. By the time the playoffs rolled around, it seemed inevitable that the Warriors would claim back-to-back championships. When the finals began, Golden State took control early, winning 3 of the first 4 games. After a dominant Game 4 win, they led the series 3-1. No team had ever come back from that deficit, ever. Cleveland's fate seemed sealed. But the Cavaliers had one thing the Warriors didn't: desperation. And desperation can fuel something incredible. Game 5 should have been the end. The Warriors had a chance to close it out in front of their home crowd, and with the way they had played all season, it felt inevitable. But then, a moment that changed everything. Draymond Green, the heart of the Warriors' defense, was suspended after accumulating too many flagrant fouls during the playoffs. His absence left a hole in Golden State's defensive schemes, and Cleveland saw an opportunity. LeBron James and Kyrie Irving took full advantage, delivering one of the most legendary performances in NBA history. Both players scored 41 points, the first time 2 teammates had ever dropped 40-plus in the same finals game. They dominated from start to finish, forcing a Game 6 back in Cleveland. And suddenly, the momentum had shifted. Game 6 was a battle, but Cleveland had the energy of their home crowd behind them. LeBron put on another historic performance, finishing with another 41-point game. The Cavs smothered Golden State defensively, and the Warriors, once the most confident team in the league, looked shaken. Now it was 3-3, a Game 7, the biggest stage, the ultimate test, the greatest Game 7 ever played. The final showdown took place in Oracle Arena, where the Warriors had been nearly unstoppable all year. The intensity was at an all-time high. Every possession mattered. Every shot was crucial. The game was tight from the start, with both teams trading baskets, neither willing to give an inch. As the fourth quarter rolled around, the score was tied at 89-89 with just under 2 minutes remaining. And then came the moments that would define history. First, the block. With 1 minute and 50 seconds left on the clock, Andre Iguodala raced down the court for what should have been an easy layup. But LeBron James, covering what seemed like impossible ground, came flying from behind and swatted the shot off the backboard. Oracle Arena went silent. It was a play that symbolized everything this comeback was about: effort, determination, and the refusal to lose. Then, the dagger. With under a minute left, Kyrie Irving found himself isolated against Stephen Curry. He dribbled, created just enough space, and launched a three-pointer. Swish. The Cavaliers took the lead. Curry had a chance to respond, but missed. And when LeBron was fouled on a drive moments later, sealing the game with a free throw, it was over. the Cavaliers had done the impossible. As the final buzzer sounded, LeBron collapsed on the floor, overcome with emotion. The city of Cleveland had waited 52 years for a championship, and now they finally had one. LeBron James, who had left Cleveland years before in search of championships, had returned and delivered on his promise. "Cleveland, this is for you," he screamed during the trophy ceremony, cementing his legacy as one of the greatest players in the history of the sport. For the Warriors, it was a bitter ending to what had been a historic season. They had dominated all year, but in the end, their place in history was taken by something even greater. A team that refused to quit. A team that defied history. A team that pulled off the greatest comeback in NBA Finals history. No team had ever done it before. No team had ever come back from a 3-1 deficit in the finals. And yet, the Cavaliers did. Because sometimes history isn't written by the favorites. Sometimes it's written by the ones who refuse to give up. And that is how the Cleveland Cavaliers pulled off the greatest comeback in NBA history.